Thunder's on a homestand here late in the season. The Indiana Pacers coming to town. I've got Cason Wallace here with me. And Cason, you guys came off the road, great trip out in California, and then you all had a battle at home against Memphis. Tell me about this stretch here as you get back home to Paycom Center, and it just seems like you're continuing to take strides forward as a team, even though you've already locked up the #1 seed.
Yeah, we just want to get better every game. We want to finish the week out as a different team as we started. So that comes with stacking days and getting ready for the playoffs.
Mark Daigneault's talked about that, saying, we want to be better at the end of a road trip than we are at the beginning of one, better at the end of a homestand than we are at the beginning. How do you guys actually take a look at that and evaluate that as you go across a week-long time here at home?
Some of it is looking at yourself in the mirror, wanting to be a better player, come out with, better energy, or something you didn't do well last game, do it better next game, or, team dynamics like rebounding, crashing the glass, controllable things.
Before we touch on Indiana, I want to ask you about the end of that Memphis game. I mean, it was tied at 99, and then all of a sudden you win that game by 21 in about a 7-minute span. What's your experience like as that's happening and unfolding on the floor, on the bench? What's that like for you all as a group to see that type of run in such a pivotal situation?
It's a lot of fun. It goes back to the earlier games in the year where we stacked possessions late in the game. It got us ready for this or to that point. So the stacking days aren't we don't take those for granted.
And you just seem to be such a vital piece of all of this. You're coming into your own on both ends of the floor. You're elevating at the rim, attacking the rim with such force. What's led to maybe just the timing or the confidence that you have to feel like that you can really go headlong at the rim and attack with great force?
Doing it in game, you work on it a lot, during the summer, during the season, and then, doing it in the game, it's another confidence booster. So, you see that it works, so keep doing it.
Tell me about this Indiana team. From the outside, it looks like they play shootouts. I mean, every night it seems like 150 points almost, 130 points.
Yeah, they're a fast team, so we got to, match their pace, contain the three-point line, like you said, would be key for us too.
Yeah, and when you say contain the three-point line, how do you go about doing that while maintaining your core identity of protecting the paint? Because it just seems like every night you all are preventing teams from getting anything easy near the basket.
We do a pretty good job at picking up the ball, getting out there, being on islands by ourselves, and, we trust our help behind us. So just making sure we ball pressure.
Yeah, what's that moment like for you, one-on-one, knowing that you've got an assignment, your job is just to keep that guy in front of you, and, 90% of the time, you and Lou and AC and these guys, you're not letting that guy get by you.
No, a lot of pride, It's just me wanting to be better than the guy in front of me. He has a challenge of getting by me, but I have a challenge of keeping him in front of me. So it's whoever's going to win that battle,
That competitive spark seems to have been in you since you were born, basically. It seems like it's maintained, though, here at the practice facility. We talked to Kenrich Williams yesterday about just how important that is to kind of keep everybody's competitive juices going. He always is talking smack and playing guys one-on-one and that kind of thing. How important is it to kind of continue that competitiveness here at the practice facility?
It's real big, Shout out to him for keeping us all in that mindset. We all want to get after it, and, it keeps that hunger inside of us.
Yeah, and I think the fans really see that, and it resonates with them. I know they're looking forward to seeing it out there on the floor tonight. Thank you, Cason.
Thank you.
All right, that's Cason Wallace. I'm Nick Gallo, and this is Thunder Basketball. Isaiah, when you see a team like Indiana put up 162 points, no matter who the opponent is, what their record is, what kind of jumps out to you in terms of the defensive test that you all have tonight?
We just have to understand that they play with a really fast pace. Whether we make shots or miss shots, they're getting up and down the court really, really quickly. So we have to, execute our game plan as far as getting back on defense, playing our brand of basketball, and don't get, consumed in the pace that they play at.
Yeah, not every team is inbounding the ball within half a second off of a make. What's key, for you all just it seems kind of basic, but just like the getting set with all five, even after a made shot.
Yeah, we just have to have that next play mentality.
Yeah.
As soon as we take a shot, we have to understand what they're trying to achieve here. They're trying to score in transition, so we can't linger. You score a basket, you want to celebrate. Sometimes you might not be able to celebrate like you want to, so you got to get back on defense. So we know that they want to play extremely fast, and that's just one thing we're going to have to take into consideration.
Kind of a random question, but I wanted to get your perspective on Lou and his defense. And obviously, you've been around him for several years now and just played alongside him. What do you notice about the effort that he's giving on that end of the floor against some of the league's best offensive players?
I think it just speaks volumes, the fact that he does it every game of the season. You know, he has the matchup to the best player on the other team every night, you know, night in and night out. And so for him to take on that challenge and be able to put his body on the line and understand the challenge that he has to, you know, take on each and every game, it just speaks to the person that he is and the player that he is. He's the ultimate competitor. All he wants to do is win, and he understands that in order for us to have that shot, putting him on the best offender, you know, it's been our better chance.
I know you guys probably don't play a ton of 5-on-5 at this point of the season, but like during training camp or preseason, were there ever possessions where Lou was guarding you out there?
Oh, for sure. But I feel like I'm a different guard. I fly around a lot, so, you know, I want to say I'm one of his tougher ones. But Lou he's definitely he's an all-around defender. He can guard anybody 1 through 5, on ball, off ball. He does it all for real.
Yeah, with the playoffs around the corner, I'm just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on these recent home crowds.
Oh, man, we got the best, you know. They obviously amp it up even more in the playoffs, but what we have during the regular season has just shown that, you know, the fans are there for us each and every game, no matter who we play, and they bring the energy. We definitely feel it for sure.
And not to look too far ahead, but you got the Bulls on Monday, Josh Giddey back in town. What have you just thought of his recent play here since the All-Star break?
He's been on a run for sure. It's good to see him doing his thing, shining, showing everybody the player that he is. But you know, family to us always will be. So good to see him doing his thing.
Have you gone back and watched that sequence that you and Hart had that led to your kick out to Caruso? Because that seemed to be kind of one of the plays of the night the other night.
It's just style of play. You know, he's great at creating action. I fly around, so I think that was just a play that showed what it looks like whenever we just, you know, click on the same level.
You guys have had a stretch of games here. You play the Kings, you play the Grizzlies, and then tonight the Pacers, all teams that are like really motivated at this point in the season, jockeying for playoff position. What can you guys kind of learn and extract from these games at this point in the season?
Yeah, we've understood that coming into these games, that the type of chip that they have on their shoulder, you know, they're fighting for these spots to make it into postseason play. And so they attack the game with a different level of aggression. So I think it's really helping us, especially starting games, because they're coming out really aggressive. We have to learn how to play the full 48 and not turn it on in the second half and things of that nature. So it's been a test for us, for sure.